Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Lee, from More Fun Fixing It. And today I have something that you've seen before. I know. This is the spectrum that you saw in the video with the exploded diode at D9. And I fixed it. It was all fixed, working, no problem at all. Let's just ignore this sticker here. And then I went off to the Bring and Bite sale in Cambridge, where I saw my friend Dave Williams, Triple D, and he sold me this screen. It's a little Elmo composite screen. It's very basic, very low resolution, and it's just for testing things on the bench for me when I'm working on stuff. So I don't have to turn on a TV, or I could just have this next to the computer I'm working on and make sure there's a picture. So I thought to test this, I'll grab a recently repaired ZX Spectrum, this one, and plugged it in, and it worked. I'll show you. It's already composite modded, so let's plug that in there and that in here. This, one thing I don't like about this is the cable sticks straight out the back, so I can't lay it down flat on the bench. It would be nice to have them sticking out the side. I'm still on the hunt for a screen that's suitable. But let's turn this on and see what happens. It works. I wonder if I could turn the brightness up a bit. It's a bit of a dark display, and it's very, very difficult to see on that. Yeah, look, you can see it better on that one. Well, that's flickering horribly. What about this one? Can you see it? There you go. Oh, it's really difficult to get this to display nicely on here. Anyway, it's quite a dark display, but it's working. It's fine. Oh, this one's working. If I change the polarizing filter, that one, it's gone off again. It doesn't like this power lead. Oh, well, look, you can see it. It's there. It's on, but it's not great. So I thought I need to see a better, more colourful picture. So I'll plug in my Steam Card Pro and run some diagnostics, and that will show me a picture with more colour. So I plugged that in, and the Retrolium Diagnostics is popped up here on the screen, showing some lovely colours. And I thought, oh yeah, this screen's going to be great. Perfect, in fact. Lower RAM's okay. Oh dear, there's a problem elsewhere. So turning off the Retrolium Diagnostics, go back to the standard other diagnostics I use, the Brendan Orford Diagnostics. I think it's Brendan Orford, isn't it? It will tell me in a second. Yes, Mr. D. Smith and Mr. B. Orford. And I've got 16K ROM pass and 16K RAM pass, but it's failing on the upper RAM, on the inversion test and the March test and a random test, and it's saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 upper RAM chips have failed. So that's all of these chips apparently have failed, including the one that I've newly put in here. Let's go back to the Retrolium Diagnostics for a sec, because this one said something slightly different. IC25 or IC26 it said there. So IC25 and IC26 are two of the 4 chips that deal with the upper memory. But the first thing I want to do is check that this chip here is still working. If this one is still working after being reported as faulty, then, well, we know that it's not the rest of these chips. I'm going to use my Retro Chip Tester Pro for this because I've got a power supply already plugged in here. Okay, so we want DRAMs common 4164. It's a good chip. There's nothing wrong with that chip. Pop that back in the board. So IC26 or IC25, that is what the Retrolium Diagnostics said. So let's get, first of all, I need to reattach this somehow so that I can still access IC25 and 26. It does make it really awkward. I'm just going to have to turn it on in brief bursts. It's going to short out too many things sitting under there. It's risky. If it blows, I can always put another one in. All right, I'm going to get rid of this because as much as I like it, I don't think it's going to work on my bench because the cameras don't pick up the screen very well and the wires sticking out the back is a bit awkward, but I'll use it when I'm working on stuff by myself. But still, £5. Thanks, Dave. All right, we've got output there. I'm just going to shine a thermal camera on this just to make sure that it's not getting crazy. Yes, it's not too bad actually. Aha. We've already found something. I don't like that though. I'm going to have to do something about that. Those legs are just going to snap off. It's the problem there. Okay, there's a solution. Right, I should be able to leave it on now and have a probe about. That doesn't look right. Pin 7. To the schematics. Right, so this is the schematics for an issue 3 ZX Spectrum. An IC25 and 26 are down here. I've zoomed in with my printer. So let's scoot down here. So I've measured, this is IC26 that I'm looking at now. And I have scoped out and I found that pin 7 and pin 9, which are outputs, these 4 are outputs that go into the address bus. This is half of the address bus and this is the other half of the address bus. And pin 7 and 9 are stuck high-ish, and because the data is flowing this way, I checked the inputs on this side, and the inputs for a 74 LS157 on pin 7 and pin 9 are 5 and 6, 10 and 11. And so 5, 6, 10 and 11, these ones over here. And they all look good. I can show you that in a second. But the other thing I did was I got I say working spectrum. This isn't perfectly working, but it's working enough for the purposes of this. It's also an issue 2, so the heatsink's out of the way. I don't have to mess around with putting another heatsink on. So this one is running. I'll show you that. That Retrolium is running there, and I can show you the pins that are in question. Okay, so pin 7 is has lots of good activity. Remember that one. And 9 on this one is this pin. And that doesn't have any activity, so that might not be a problem on the other one, but it is actually on the other one, it's still stuck high. This one is just noisy. I don't know why that's doing that, but the inputs are 5 and 6, so that's 5, 6, the inputs for pin 7 output, and the inputs for pin 9 are 10 and 11, so 10 and 11, and they've all got good data signals going through them. But yeah, this is the one that we need to remember is pin 7 is that one. So let's get the other one back up. Oh no, it does that anyway, doesn't it? I thought it was suddenly started working. Right, That's not shorting, that's good. Okay, so pin 7 is that one. Look, it's just a horrible, nasty signal. Looks horrible. And then pin 9 is doing something similar. That's high as well. So let's look at the inputs again for that. The inputs for rude. Thank you. The inputs for 7 are 5 and 6. So 4, 5 looks good. And 6 also looks good. And then inputs for pin 9 output is 10 and 11. So 8, 9, 10 is good and 11 is good. So I think that one's just gone pop. It could be that all of the memory has gone wrong, and if I can show you that as it shows in the schematic here, that pin 7 is connected to pin 5 on this is IC15, but all of these are connected. All of the address lines are connected straight through. So in continuity test, pin 7 and pin 5 on any of these chips. Oh, 1, 0, 5. Any of these chips is connected. They're all connected together. So that's why it thinks all of them have failed, because that whole address line has failed. And the inputs to that address line are good. The outputs are not. So I haven't actually checked this side of it yet. So we should really do that, shouldn't we? Just for completeness sake. Right, I'll do that. Rude. 16 not connected. Okay, so that all looks good, that one. I think we just need to take out IC26 and test it. Let's stick it in the Retro Chip Tester Pro to test it, because I've got it handy. Someone needs to remind me to put this heatsink back on. I have forgotten to do that in the past. I might change this voltage regulator as well, because the legs have been bent up quite badly. They don't like it. This is the one with the melting pads. I'm going to have to risk it, because I have to know that that's the faulty chip. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose some pads off of this, desoldering this, but I think I could cut it out, and that's going to preserve the board, but for the sake of this video, I want to be able to preserve the chip to test it, to show that it is faulty and how it's faulty. And if I chop all the legs off, I'm not going to be able to do that. If I do lose pads on here, I can repair it. It's not the end of the world. I don't think that's going to be anything drastic. There are quite a few pads that are not connected to anything down here though. Right, I'm going to reflow some solder on the top here, just to make it as painless as possible. My desolder station, my desoldering gun is set as low as it will possibly go, so let's wish me luck. Oh, I'm going to clean this first before I start. Okay, let's go. I've got a nice clean desoldering station now, and I'm going to give it a go. That one's all right. That one's okay. Yep, we're looking good. Right, I think the station blocked on the very last one, but it looks like it might have cleared all the holes really well. But I'm gonna heat it from the top. Right, it's on 320. that looks good. Right, next up, Retro Chip Tester Pro. Okay, so we want logic. $74,157. It's okay. Right, this has got a bit more interesting. I'm going to have to poke around a bit more and find out what's going on. Right, let's get rid of those. So a few small disasters along the way here in terms of recording this video. I lost quite a lot of footage to a technical fault, and so I'm going to run over. It's fixed basically. So I'm going to run over what actually happened here. You can see under here I've socketed the logic chip, and it's the same logic chip that's in there. As you saw, it passed the test. I put a socket back in, and I put the chip back in and tested it, and it just started working, which is kind of disappointing in some ways. I mean, it's nice to get a fix, but you want to know why. And I think there are two possibilities as to why this went faulty. And one is that the work that I did maybe caused an issue. I might have left a bit of stray solder, might have fallen onto the bare traces on the top of the motherboard here and shorted out that address line. And then once I changed that chip, and I might have disturbed whatever the problem was and put it back again. The other issue that I think is more likely actually on this board, and it's possibly what was partly going wrong with it in the past as well, is the quality of the soldering on this one is the worst I've ever seen on a Spectrum. I have now gone through and re-soldered every pin on all of the chips. I've done quite a few of the passives as well, but just the ones that looked bad. But you can see on the footage that I'm showing you now that some of the quality of the joints looks suspect at best. So I think that it was probably one of those that's broken down and caused this to go wrong. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm kind of 50-50, because the problem was that address line was being held high. So if it was a bad joint, then it wouldn't be being held high. It would be low all the time. So maybe it was something that I've brushed off of the board. But for whatever reason, that's not a problem anymore. It's now a fully working Spectrum. I have tested it. I will show you. I've also changed the two transistors over here because it was a very dark picture, as you saw on the footage at the start. And to preserve the board, again, to minimize the risk to the board, I chopped those out and then put new transistors in, BC549s, which make this image much brighter. Let's do that with the diagnostic cartridge. Possibly a bit too bright. No, that looks good. It's not a great image anyway. But yeah, I think that's now fixed. So not the most exciting fix, not the most satisfying. There wasn't actually anything broke. That's interesting. I just lifted the Spectrum up, and I think the edge connector could do with a clean. Let's see, let's try that again. Well, that looks all right now. I'm calling this one fixed. I'm going to pack it up and send it back to Paul before it goes wrong again. But this does happen sometimes with the machines that Paul gives me to repair. I'll fix them here and send them back to him. He'll always, before he sells things, he'll test them before he packs them up and sends them off to the buyer. And sometimes, it doesn't happen too often, but it has happened a few times, the machines have been faulty again and they've gone wrong in between me fixing them and going back to Paul. And that's, you know, they're 40-plus-year-old machines. So that is kind of expected. They are not very well made. They're not Ataris and they're not Amstrads. They will go wrong. So if you buy one of these, you have to do it with the full knowledge of what you're buying into, because the ZX Spectrum is not a machine that is meant to have lasted for 40 years. It's a miracle that they are still working after all of this time. Anyway, so that one's done. Let's send it back to Paul and get some more off of him soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy watching my content, I've recently opened up a Patreon account, and lots of people are supporting me on there and helping me through this phase where I'm going from a completely unpaid YouTuber to now being a paid YouTuber. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon, you can look forward to ad-free early access videos, plus exclusive content, and all sorts of updates and behind the scenes chatter that comes out of my workshop. So thanks for your support if you are a Patreon, and thanks for watching if you're just a viewer. Cheers, bye. Let's put this bloody thing away. Stop breaking on me. If the sound didn't come out this time, I might scream.